That's why we send another technician that's never even been in that car. Hey, just go for a ride, go over some bumps, test the brakes, do whatever. Go for a road test with it and just tell me, like, is this okay? It's not to tattle on anybody, it's just quality assurance more than anything else. We want to make sure this car is absolutely perfect.
Welcome to the Boys Under the Hood podcast. Pat Kelly joined by James Stevenson, owner of Lotus Business Solutions. We also have a special guest here today, owner of Precision Auto in West Springfield, Massachusetts, Matt Rivving. What's going on, man?
Not much.
I was just saying, I'm a little bit nervous, similar to the president and vice president, how they never are on the same plane together. You guys are in the same area. This could go south very quickly. So we're going to do this as fast as we can and get you guys separated because someone's going to need to carry on if something happens to the other one.
Of course.
So what's new, man? What's new at the shop?
Things are great. Things are really, really great. We're buzzing right now.
At this time of year, what are the kind of things that you see coming through the door into the base?
It's getting colder out, so a lot of issues with people not having heat. They're starting to turn on the heat for the first time in 6 some odd months.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, my heat's not working or it's not blowing great, things like that. Especially the cold mornings. Oh, my tire light's on. Are my tires low or are they not? Is it a sensor? Those early morning tire pressure lights are always coming up right about now.
What is it about people that we wait until like the last second? Like we wait until now to see if our heat's working in our car. We always wait to the last second. We're so reactive like that.
Are you a big procrastinator in general?
Yes, particularly with things that I don't like to do. But that's something that I've kind of changed. So here's something my wife says to me, and it is really good advice. You should do something that you don't like to do at least once a day. And I was like, when she said that, I was like, what does that mean? Well, she's like, there are things that we all kind of avoid doing, right? Because they suck. In my case, cleaning out the cat box. I get all gaggy, my eyes get all watery every single time. I'm not good with any of that stuff. But, I try to do something that I really don't want to do, but I know needs to get done every day. And it's like making your bed, right? Get that done. You've already accomplished something to start your day.
We had a couple of questions come across over the past week, and somebody was like, "Are you doing this out of your garage?" Yeah. Welcome. Here we are.
Welcome to the garage,
office, gym.
Matt was shocked.
Cars.
Matt was shocked at how technologically advanced this is.
This isn't meant to be like some high budget studio production.
No.
We're kind of fucking around here.
If you want Hollywood, this is not the place for you. It's not the place for you.
Yeah, if you want good information, then stay. If you're looking for some high value production, this isn't going to be it.
Before we get going here, I need to thank our sponsors, Lotus Business Solutions, specializing in auto repair shops, coaching from the ground up, getting systems in place, helping to grow auto shops, both from a customer standpoint, employee retention and what it means to keep good employees on your team. Lotus Business Solutions, it's what you kind of started and this has evolved to. It started with you just coaching a few shops and you were like, wait a minute, I know what the hell I'm doing. I'm building shops nationwide and here we go. Lotus Business Solutions right in front of us.
Yeah, thank you.
Also, special thanks to Lotus Media. If you're a shop and you're having an issue with your message and your messaging out to the public and bringing customers in, we specialize in a nice, concise message that will talk about the benefits of doing business with you, which is one of the things that I want to talk about here today. A lot of businesses, they kind of list what they do without explaining what the benefit of doing business with them is. We'll get to that, but Lotus Media can help you with your message, no matter where you're spreading that message, social, radio, TV, wherever you're doing it. And lastly, Lotus Financial. If you own a shop and you're going home and doing the books after your long day of work, don't. We have CPAs and bookkeepers, small business accountants that can take that part of the job away from you. I mean, how tedious is that? You, at least at first, had to do that yourself.
Dude, for years. I think so when Matt even first started working for us, I was still doing the books and then, I would try to prep it all and then send it over to an accountant, and it was always a mess. The accountants always, you didn't classify this. It looks like a mechanic did your books.
Right.
You know, is basically what the response I would get.
And there must have been times where you're like, wait a minute, this fucking guy didn't work 9 hours today. Right? Like, so
Yeah.
that added stress.
Yeah. I think you know, let the house painter paint the house. You know, let the accountant do the books. One of the first pieces of like business advice that I got years and years ago was about marketing. You know, like I enjoy marketing. I enjoy all the data behind it. I'm a very data-driven guy. You know, and years ago I would do all of our marketing. And one of the first things that somebody told me is they're like, why don't you just pay a marketing company? Like, run your business, do your business, pay the marketing company, pay the accountant, pay these people, and it's going to free you up to be able to do what you're going to do, and they're going to get a better result than you're going to get anyways, you know. And that's how we ended up with these other companies, you know, Lotus Financial and then Lotus Media, because, you know, we had to build a team of people that really knew about this stuff and could dedicate their time to building these plans and carrying them out. You know, you're a tremendously invaluable part of Lotus Media, you know, and the message that you build based on what the customer's needs are. Like, people don't realize how in-depth you go and how much time you spend on that, trying to research every little intricacy of the business to try to find a new hook for them and everything. And you've got 30 years of professional experience doing that in one of the biggest markets. I mean, you've got a big reach, and you've been doing this for a long time with tremendous results.
Well, one of the real challenges with any business that you're talking to, right, they want to be represented, is finding what they do differently than the other guy. What do they do better than the other guy? And then what is the benefit of people doing business with you? I'll give you a good example. So here we are coming up on late October, and we all start getting those texts from politicians that we've never heard. Right? I don't know who the frig this guy is, but it's like, hey, it's Joe Bag of Donuts, vote for me. I need your vote. And I'm like, first of all, I hate that, you know, cast the huge net and hope to catch big fish like that. I hate that in general. But they never say, my name is Joe. If I get elected, this is the first thing I'll do. Please vote for me. They never give the benefit of it.
They stopped doing that in high school. Remember, a high school president, right? The school committee president or whatever. All snacks are going to be free. All vending machine snacks are going to be free. I would vote for that dude.
You're damn right.
I would definitely vote for that dude. How about
Yes.
some Snickers?
So I want to speak to that for a second, because we talk about, you know, sourcing it out to Lotus Financial, to Lotus Media. Were you anxious when you first did that? Because do you feel like you lose control for a second there?
I think for me, so I started Precision, you know, many, many years ago. And so one of the things that I realized was that I wasn't spending enough time with my family. I was missing, you know, when I first started the business, I didn't have any kids. And then as things evolved, I met Nick, and you know, we had our oldest daughter, and then I wasn't making it to all of these different events that I would want to make it to. Even if it was just classes, you know, dance class and gymnastics and all of that stuff. And so what I quickly realized is that there has to be a different way. There has to be a better way. And so one of those things involved obviously hiring a different type of person. And so instead of trying to find like home run service advisors and home run mechanics, I need to build systems where I can train these people and build these people into exactly what I want. I figure if I can take personality, right? So I hire based on attitude, aptitude, and ethics. And so as long as I have those three things, then I can give them the time, the tools, and the training that they need to be successful. And I can get really just about any result I want out of somebody as long as I can put in that time. And so once I started doing that, here we are, right? And so, you know, Matt, like, you have no automotive background before Precision. And so what were you doing before, for the people that don't know?
So before Precision, I worked for a company called StubHub.
You were a customer. That's how you met. Yeah.
But I was a customer of Precision too.
Yeah.
While I was working at StubHub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do at StubHub?
So I was a customer service supervisor. So I did a variety of different roles. I worked in their fraud department for a little while, catching bad guys and catching people trying to use stolen credit cards. But the foundation of it was customer service. Helping customers out with whatever issues that they're having, buying or selling tickets.
And so there must be a tremendous amount of fraud too with these, especially now that tickets are digital. You could just, I mean, you must be able to resell a QR code 100 times.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a system in place so that it can only be used once, but still, It's much easier now to steal that kind of stuff as long as I have your information, your credit card number, your name, your address. That's it. You know, back in the day, they had to be shipped somewhere, but now when they just go on your phone, it's even easier.
I remember when I wanted concert tickets, I had to go to the record store, the CD store,
Yes.
where they sold CDs, and I would go and I'd give them cash. I remember paying for things with cash, and I would go and I would give them cash, and they would give me like give me tickets.
Real tickets.
And then I'd walk out with my concert tickets.
Yeah.
Strawberries, right?
Strawberries, you go to Strawberries.
It was a Ticketmaster, right, at the
Yeah.
time? Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, it's come a long way, a really long way. You don't have to or you don't have to meet the grimy guy on the corner outside of Fenway Park where you might be getting some phony tickets, and then by the time you go to scan him, he's no longer to be found, you know?
I had that happen to a good friend of mine, for real. Bought some Red Sox
tickets.
Bought some Red Sox tickets, went to use them fake, and the guy disappeared, and he was out $100.
It's literally cheaper to get on a plane and fly to Baltimore, stay in a hotel, buy front row tickets, you know, at the Orioles Red Sox game, and then fly home than it would be just to go to Fenway for one night, and we're, you know, an hour and a half away from it. You know,
I wish we were more reasonable because I love that town.
oh, it's awesome. There's nothing like it. You have to
Such a
go to
great town.
Fenway if you haven't been.
Yeah.
As someone that just took a family of 4 to Fenway about a month ago, yes, I can. It's definitely probably cheaper if I had just flown to Baltimore or Toronto or anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is like the effects of the beer kind of lessen the blow when you're getting your fourth $20 beer. At first you're like, what the fuck, $20? And they're like, give me another one. I don't care, right? All right, so you worked with StubHub, and how did you meet James? How did this all come about?
So I actually lived right around the corner from Precision Auto. I could walk there. And when James moved to where we are now, I said, oh, wow, this is awesome. Like, there's a shop right near me. And I had been looking for a place to take my family's cars. We drove 2 older vehicles and they needed some help. And I wasn't probably taking as good a care of them as I should have. Going to the quick lube places and things like that where nobody, you know, getting my oil changed, but nobody's looking at my brakes. Nobody's looking at my suspension. Nobody's looking at whether or not I'll pass inspection or if I'm safe to be on the road. They're just changing my oil and getting me out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I bounced around to a few different shops. And then when James opened up right around the corner from me, he said, boy, this is great. I had the ability to work from home. I said, man, I can just leave my car there, let them do their thing, and I can just walk home. I don't have to inconvenience anybody with a ride or anything. It was just incredibly convenient for me. And then turns out my cars needed some help, and I was neglecting them for years. And James and his team at the time, they got me feeling a lot better about my vehicles. I was about to have children, putting my children in these vehicles. I wanted them to be safe. And I didn't realize how, at the time, unsafe they were. And then they quickly became safe.
So it was your interaction with Precision that made you want to work there? How did that go?
I had been going to Precision for years, I think, before I ever started working there.
Definitely years.
And so, more often than not, James was the guy that I talked to. James was the one that told me, hey, Matt, here's what's wrong. You really got to do this. This can wait, but you really got to do this now. Whether it be brakes or new struts or whatever it was, whatever I needed to be safe in my vehicles. Both of us had good commutes, so we needed safe, reliable vehicles. So after a few years of that, I quickly realized this is a real shop. This is a shop that really cares about me, my vehicle, my family's safety. I had never gotten a phone call after a service before until I started coming to Precision. Someone called me the day after to say, hey, is everything okay? Did everything come out okay? And it always was. It always was. I never had a problem, but it's nice to know. It's nice to know some places I've had problems and I didn't always get met with a really friendly face afterwards, or they couldn't get me in right away or anything. But I always got the impression that if I ever did have a problem, I could come in tomorrow and get it fixed.
So that's something that we've talked about. A lot of people, a lot of shop owners are afraid to ask that question because they're afraid of what the answer might be, right? You ask someone how they're doing on the street, you don't really care. You're a shop and you're calling a customer, you just maybe spent a few $100 with you. You're maybe hesitant to ask that question because you're afraid of the answer. But that meant everything to you.
Everything. Yeah. The follow-up, the way I was sent messages, sent coupons through the mail, all of that, emails, promotional emails, text messages saying, "Hey, we've got a last-minute opening that show if you have any repair needs, bring your vehicle in. We'll get you in right away." All of that showed me that, okay, this is not just a shop trying to just make $1 off of me or anything. They wanted me to be a longtime customer of theirs, and they truly cared about not just that if I was happy with my repair, but just if I was happy in general. James and I got to know each other fairly well, just in the short interactions of picking up my 2 vehicles. It was never, ever just, okay, here's your bill, get out of here, give me your money and get out. It was always some sort of a conversation. I usually had, later on, I'd have one of my children probably with me, and James met them. So it was just, and James had young kids. So it was conversations about that, completely unrelated to cars. We just kind of got to know each other and got friendly with one another.
So at the time, was this part of your business process? Like, had you already envisioned this is how it's going to go? Or is this just something that you did naturally, following up with people?
I don't think that a sale is complete until a follow-up is complete, period. You see a lot of places, I don't know, you've had your car serviced other places than ours in the past, and I know that I've had to bring my vehicles other places. If something's under warranty, it goes to the dealer or whatever, and so I examine every little bit of the interaction because that is exactly what I do. And so if I'm in the position to be a customer, I examine all of it. How do they say this? How do they do that? What kind of literature? And I could tell you that our process for onboarding a new customer, how we take the appointment is better than I've ever seen at any dealership I've ever been to. And then at the end, the dealership, they call you and the sales presentation sucks. Hey, you need this expensive thing, do it or don't. It's going to be a month. I could never talk to a customer like that. I'd be on every town forum, called every kind of name if we gave that type of service. Yep. It's true. It's pure and simple, And so then at the end, you literally, the last time I had my car at a dealership, it was a $127,000 car that only had 600 miles on it. And when I went to pick this thing up, it was all greased up inside, looking awful, unpresentable. The floor mat's still in there, still a seat cover, the car's parked crooked, pulled in, not even nice and backed in, all the way across the parking lot. I go inside and the girl goes, throws the fucking RO at me here and then slides the keys at me. It's all set. What the hell? That's how you close the sale? No, man, you have to resell the job, right? Pat, you bring it in. Hey, what's up with the car? Help me understand. Right. So when is it doing it? Okay, you got this noise, perfect. I'm going to send you with Steve, right? Steve's one of our lead technicians. I am now going to build value in my guy. Steve's one of our lead technicians, master tech. He's been doing this for 30 years. Incredible guy. He's going to go after this noise. And we want to make sure that we get to the root of it right now. And so I'm going to have him take a ride with you so he can verify it, right? All right? And then so he goes for a ride, he verifies it, we're building more value, right? People want to talk to a tech, they want to see the guy, right? We're not making the tech field all kinds of questions, but we do want to make sure that this customer is going to be happy, and we know that we're going to get a happy customer if we fix it right the first time. And so this is one of the ways that we ensure that. Then, we call the customer, we give them pictures, videos, everything, we explain the whole thing, very transparent. And then at the end, after the work is all done, customer comes back in, hey, Pat, I just want to go over this repair order with you. It was a great idea to do this, that, and the other. Now your wheels aren't going to fall off the car, right? Or now your brakes are good and you're going to be able to stop, not as aggressively as that, you know what I mean? But you understand where I'm going. Right. And, really, really great. Reinforce why they did it, all the benefits of it. Reinforce the warranty. This is your opportunity to resell, because when that customer leaves your shop, every moron online that gets a whiff of what you charged is going to say that they could have done it for free, or they could have done it cheaper, or their buddies, friends, cousins, nieces, uncle, whatever, could have done it for less, and he's a mechanic, and you know, I get all of that, right? But you want to make sure that you're building as much value so that you don't want to charge the most, but you have to charge enough to pay your people and you know, put the right parts, and you got to have the right equipment and all of that stuff. It's expensive. It's a super expensive industry to be in. You know, it just is. And so to provide that service, it costs what it costs. And not for nothing, it's always going to be more expensive to go to a shop than it will be to work out of some dipshit's garage in his backyard while he's laying under this thing and every part comes off with a hammer, you know, but he could do it cheaper, right? And his parts suck. And how many of those cars have we seen in the time that you've been with us? How many times a week do we see that car that comes in that was done cheaper? You got a recommendation on a town forum rather than, you know, going to a proper shop, and they pull the car into somebody's driveway. It sits there for a month, and then we get it in pieces. Or we get it and the brake pads are on backwards. They don't put the pad material on the rotor. They put the metal, you know what I mean?
You see a lot of that?
There's a car in the shop right now as we're recording this, that is exactly that. They brought the car in, they had some noise, they were worried about the noise. So rightfully so, they brought it to us. A friend of theirs recommended us to them. They said, you got to bring it to Precision. I bring all my cars to Precision. Let them look at this. And we quickly saw somebody had done a lot of work to this car with parts that looked really cheap. Probably bought on Amazon or something like that. Not quality parts and not installed correctly. And in fact, left them in a very precarious, dangerous situation. Unbeknownst to them.
And what's the recourse there? I mean, if you go to dipshit's garage, which is usually his actual garage at his house, what's the recourse when something goes bad? I want to ask you, because I want to get back to the question when you call up and ask them how things went. How do you prepare yourself for if they do say it didn't go as well as I thought? How does the conversation go when that happens?
Right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, get in the door right now. And it doesn't matter what the schedule, like,
no.
Come in the door. Okay, do you need us to pick the car? I'm at work. Great, perfect, we'll come pick it up.
Right.
Yeah, right now we want to fix it. There should be no time delay between when they say that they have an issue. And so a lot of people are non-confrontational, and that's one of the reasons that we also text, right? So our follow-up, we call, but then we also text. Because sometimes people don't want to tell you, hey, Matt, I'm having this issue, because I think they're so scarred by leaving honest feedback with businesses, and then they get crushed for it, and so they're scared, and so they'll text,
right? Because
there's this anonymity behind the text, and so say, hey, look, you know, you did the brakes, but they're still making noise, or, you know, there's this, like, okay, come right back.
Well, it also might be, because I've had experiences like this too, where you make a complaint, and now suddenly the other person gets confrontational. Right, the business owner gets confrontational on you. No, we did it right. No, that's not true. But so you just sidestep that entirely and say, bring it back in. Let's have another look at it.
You always try to eliminate that possibility. You always try to, and that's why with every repair that we do, we don't just fix it and ship it. We drive it, and then we drive it some more, and then we drive it some more, and then another tech drives it. That's a big thing that we do in our shop is, you know, so the tech that looks at it, he figures out what's going on with it. We recommend the repair, we do the repair, and then he drives it and he goes, okay, that noise is gone. I don't hear that noise anymore. But then on top of it, we have another tech go for a ride in the car. After it's done, after it's all done, another tech goes for a ride in it, or I go for a ride.
Wait, so you got guys that check your guys?
Yeah, and it's not like to tattle on them. Has nothing to do with that. But sometimes, and it's human nature, when you go for a ride with that customer and they say, I hear a bump or I hear a noise over a bump. So you get kind of zoned into that noise. All right, I got to fix that noise. Let me figure out what that noise is. Then you fix it and that noise is gone. But maybe that noise was so loud, now you got a little tiny noise in the back that you could never hear over that front thing that's about to fall off. So sometimes when you drive the vehicle, sometimes you zone in on that one noise and you're not even hearing the other one. It's human nature. It happens sometimes. Not often, but it does. That's why we send another technician that's never even been in that car. hey, just go for a ride, go over some bumps, test the brakes, do whatever. Go for a road test with it and just tell me, like, is this okay? It's not to tattle on anybody, it's just quality assurance more than anything else. We want to make sure this car is absolutely perfect.
You're listening to the Boys Under the Hood podcast. Thanks for joining us today. Feel free to ask questions, leave comments. Pat Kelly, joined by James Stevenson, owner of Lotus Business Solutions, and our special guest here today, Matt Rivving, owner of Precision Auto in West Springfield, Massachusetts. 9 years in a row, the best shop, voted by your customers.
Yeah.
Incredible, man.
18 years in business.
Absolutely incredible. Great job, Matthew.
Awesome.
Thanks for joining us.